Welcome to Chris Collins Unleashed. All you have to do is listen.
Welcome everybody to Chris Collins Unleashed. I hope you're having a great day. Hello, G-Man. How you doing?
Good.
G-Man, we have a new nickname for you. Tell everybody what that is.
No.
Come on.
I forget what it was.
You did not forget.
I did.
There is no way you
I
forgot.
forgot what it was.
So G-Man shows up at the gym. Oh, let me tell you the topic today. Sorry, I'm in a hurry.
You're moving way too far ahead.
I'm in a hurry, I guess. Today's topic is boss versus leader.
Yep.
And so we have a lot of people walking around going, I'm a boss, be a boss, we're a boss.
Like a boss.
Yeah, like a boss. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, we're going to teach you how not to be a boss, but how to be a leader. So that's going to be fun.
Yep.
We got a lot of stats and interesting stuff. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. One thing that you will enjoy and like about this is we are more about the content than the idealized version of things because we have a lot of experience actually working in businesses. And so we know what works and doesn't instead of the idealized, feel good, just think about it, the secret dream stuff, which that works to some degree, but not to the degree that we need it to work in a business to increase performance. Back to your nickname.
Back to my nickname.
Did you remember? Man Baby.
Man Baby. Oh, that's what it was.
Man Baby. So, G shows up at the gym this morning and he's got down one side. Oh, man, I wish you'd stand on the table here and take off your pants.
That sounds really weird.
Yeah, whatever. I mean every word of it. So everybody could see his leg has got this huge raspberry. You know, like when you were a little kid and you were first learning to ride a bike and you would like fall in the gravel. That's what he's got going on. And maybe after this we could take a picture and put it into the video. And then look at this terrible tape job. Okay, if you're listening and not watching this, he is standing on the table with his leg and he is showing this raspberry.
Ow.
Yeah, it hurt pulling your jeans up, didn't it? Now you need to explain to everybody those socks and shoes that you got going on. Okay, now I'm flashed the elbow. So then his elbow.
Yeah. I got to be in this also.
Yeah, and well, you've changed it. Because this morning it had blood coming through it.
Well, yeah, I had to change it. Bled through.
Yeah. So there's blood coming through these Band-Aids. I don't know what those are, like 3 inches by 1 inch, 2 of them.
Yeah.
On his elbow. Yeah. So if you have listened to any of our stuff before, Gary is on the waiting list for a titanium shoulder from his previous skateboarding accident. And then
I wonder if I could show the tape on that.
This
that would be too crazy. Let's see.
This time you crashed in an alley, or what did you? How fast were you going when you crashed?
Oh, this time I wasn't going that fast.
What is this skateboard thing called that's trying to kill you?
It's a Evolve Carbon GT is what it's called.
And what classification of skateboard is it?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like a motorcycle.
It's a longboard, but they call it an e-board, so it's electric, motorized skateboard.
Max speed is 27 miles an hour?
27, yeah.
And we looked it up, but the fastest man ever to run was 29?
Yeah, something like that.
I
can't remember. I'd have to look it up again.
It was very close.
A little bit faster than I ride.
Well, maybe. So it's just a little insight into Gary's midlife crisis, the big man baby midlife crisis.
Yeah, it wasn't going that fast this time. I just had a little bit of a hiccup, and then I hit the brake again, and it just that's the problem with that thing is that when you hit the brake, it stops, and you don't. And so all your momentum just keeps going. You just go flying off the thing. Yeah,
of course it's the thing's fault. It's the problem with the thing. You know, the problem with guns is they kill people.
I'm starting a class action suit.
It's not guns that kill people. It's people that kill people.
Yeah.
Right? Is that how it goes?
That's how it
It's
goes.
not skateboards that mess up your elbow. It's the people on the skateboard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's fun, though.
It was pretty embarrassing because we had we had my daughter's friend came over, so her family dropped her off. And so I took her brother, Madison's friend's brother, out to teach him how to ride on Blake's board. And then I fell right in front of him. So it's a little bit. Then I go back to the family, and I got like blood coming down my arm, my leg. It was a little bit.
Such an example.
It was a little bit embarrassing. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, but fun. So fun.
So when we're maybe we'll come back to that. I don't know. I don't know what to do with you at this point. You can't do an intervention. Right? How do you do an intervention?
I don't know.
Your wife
man.
would have to do that.
I don't know.
Wouldn't it be funny if you came home one day and then I'm sitting in your living room with your kids and your wife and you're like, okay, how does an intervention work? I've never been a part of that.
It is like that. You walk in and it's surprised. Maybe the skateboard's on the kitchen table.
Is there like a pastor there or something? Or who else is there? Like a shrink?
Well, I think you should. You have to have like a representative of some sort of.
Is there
like,
a straight jacket there to kind of get your attention? Like, oh, if I don't go along with this, they can straight jacket me.
Yeah, somebody from Passages or something.
Oh, so funny.
This is serious. We need you to sit down.
Okay. So let's talk about boss versus leader, because this is we got a lot of content here, and I don't know that we'll fit it all. We'll fit it all in, but the basic idea, not the douchey like, hey, I'm a boss guy or gal, but kind of the Meryl Streep character from The Devil Wears Prada. Like that's kind of everybody's idea of a boss, right? She was like real to the point, do it or you're fired. That that sort of thing. But I don't know, there's a flip side to that too, is not necessarily the boss that is the take it or leave it, that type A, but there's also the boss that's just what I like to call the keeper of the keys of the Charlie Brown. Like they can unlock the door every day. They're reliable, but they're not a leader. They're not making the numbers go anywhere. They're not propelling the business forward. And so I have a theory on that, is that the difference between any manager or boss and actually a leader, there's one thing that happens that changes everything that most bosses or managers never actually do. And they can go far in their career, but they'll never transcend. They'll never really add a ton of value to other people in their life. And they'll never really know what they're capable of or what their full potential is. And so the difference between the two, can we get a drum roll, Lucas? That was terrible. Is raising your hand and saying, yeah, I'm going to be the leader.
Yeah.
And so something happens in your psyche when you raise your hand and you say, yeah, I'm going to be the leader. Because at that point, then you accept all responsibility. And the biggest difference between a boss and a leader is the responsibility part. The owning it, right? Owning the result till the end. Like the outcome is yours.
Yeah.
And so then you have to go the extra step.
I think the way it was described to me early on in my career by one of my mentors was saying that managers manage things and then leaders lead people. Like you can't manage people. You can try, but once you get out past 100 or so, it's going to be really, really hard because you can't see them all. But, you can manage inventory, you can manage resources, but it's just really hard to manage people. You're better off leading them so that they follow you willingly, right? Instead of standing on top of them.
Yeah, but I think that the other part, and kind of like that's the beginning of the conversation, but then the next part of the conversation is the part that when you accept full responsibility, you focus on the results more than the feelings. And I think a lot of times bosses or managers are led by feelings and not results. And so it's hard because it's easy to create feelings around your comfort zone. It's really hard to create feelings around the actual results. Like if you actually look at your results, then the feelings kind of, it's like looking in the mirror. Like your results then are something different. And so raising your hand and saying, hey, I accept this. I'm going to lead us out of this valley it's a magical thing really in a lot of ways, because at that point then you're committing to a couple things at that point. You're committing to the result. You're committing to you're responsible for the result. And the other thing, and I think this is the most important one in a lot of ways, is you're committing to constantly improving all the time. So you're saying like, I'm constantly going to get better. One thing that is his name Clayton Mask, the guy from Infusionsoft? He was.
I don't remember.
He was talking at this mastermind that we go to, and he was saying that he was saying that basically, like, he will tell his people, you know, we're gonna go to 100 million, and I'm not the leader right now that gets us to 100 million, but when we get there, I will be. And basically, what he's saying in that is he's saying that I'm going to learn, I'm going to change, I'm going to compete, I'm going to constantly push us and get better. And when we get there, I will be that leader. Mm-hmm. But it's a great way to get everybody to work together and root for him, because he's not going, hey, I'm the boss, I'm the man, do what I say, take it or leave it. He's saying, hey, we got a long ways to go, and we got to stretch, and we got to learn, and we got to pull people in, to help us on the things we don't know. We got to read books. We got to, we got to research. We got to be curious, that sort of thing.
He's given himself room too to be imperfect, because he's going to make mistakes. He's going to make a bad decision, a choice, put him in the wrong direction, have to make some recorrections, and if he tries to come out of the gate being too perfect, then everybody's going to hold him accountable, and he could lose him. And so by saying, hey, look, I'm not that guy now, but I will be later, it also gives them the ability to learn right along with him. So if they feel like, 100 million, like, how am I going to get there? I don't even know what that looks like. At least he's saying, yeah, I don't know yet. And they're like, okay, good. I don't know either. So now I get to learn right along next to you. And that's a good leadership tactic. I think you're getting lots of buy-in through that.
Yeah. I thought when he said that, I was like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really, it's humble, but it's aggressive in a weird way.
Yeah, it's humble but confident, right? Because it's humble, hey, I don't know, but I'm going to learn how to do it. And so he's confident he's going to get there, but he's got humility in that moment that, until we see the summit, I don't know what that looks like. So it's it's good.
Yeah, and so then there's other commonalities, and I'm going to actually go through a list, and I'll call it out and then see. We'll play a little game.
All right.
There's no prize.
I'm just going to say right now I have not seen the list yet, so this is going to be interesting.
This is a secret list. But let me go through some stats really quick that are pretty interesting. So these are all Gallup polls. Poor leaders in the workplace are the number one reason that people quit their jobs, and 90% of employees eventually leave their companies to change jobs. So poor leaders are the number one reason that people quit their jobs. The next one is poor management can cost a team 50% productivity than well-managed teams. So it can cost you 50% in your productivity. Makes total sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Poor management can cost a company to make 44% less profits than a company with better management practices. 75% of employees report that dealing with their direct supervisors are the most stressful parts of their job.
That's a good one.
They must work here. Mismanaged employees will retaliate against companies because of how they're treated by their supervisor. Only 33.8% of employees are engaged at work. Yeah, we know those stats from our gamification stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, we just used that one, as a matter of fact.
We did? 47% of managers say that they were hired to become managers due to high performance in a previous non-managerial position. Unfortunately, past performance does not always translate into great future managers. Oh, we could talk about that, right?
Yeah, no, that's good.
That's a hard one because you don't want to hold a high performer back, but a lot of times they don't make the best manager.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then also the fact that they held that position before is not a predictor that they're good at it and can do it long term and achieve success. There's no doubt about that.
So here's the last one. Gallup estimates that the cost of poor management and lost productivity for employees in the U.S. can cost a company between $960 billion to $1.2 trillion per year.
Jeez, 1.2 trillion.
What do you think about that?
That's crazy.
That's fun. Okay, so let's take a break, and then when we come back, I'm going to give you one, and then you're going to tell me what it is. So these are the differences between a boss and a leader. So the first one, but don't answer it. We'll wait till we come back, is barks orders.
Okay.
So now you got to say the counter. What does a leader do instead of barking orders? What do they do?
I got one for that.
Meows orders. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome. I'm Daniel Z. Barber, and I'm here with comedian Richelle Meiss for our segment, I Got Fired, where, as the name might imply, we talk about real-life stories of getting fired from dumb jobs by dumb, stupid, idiot people.
Yes, this is my story, and yes, I am deeply ashamed.
That's how you know it's good. Okay, Richelle, you're a stand-up comedian, writer. You're crushing it right now. Your videos is going viral. But
yeah.
But before you made it big, let's talk about the crap job.
Well, I was working at a staffing agency.
Off to a bad start. Okay.
It was fine, you know. They gave me money.
Well, steady paycheck. That's
Yeah.
it's mythical in this day and age. It's like a centaur, Justin Bieber hitting puberty.
Oh, nice.
Zing.
It was a day job, and one day they pulled me in their office and they gave me the whole spiel, like they're letting me go. Oh, it's not me, it's you.
Oh God, they broke up with you. Let you down easy.
Yeah, I definitely cried.
Bastards.
Okay, but here's where it gets weird. They fired me, and then they asked me to stay until they found a replacement.
What? How does that work? Is it like, so it's like, hi, I'm breaking up with you. Get all your stuff and move out, but not until I find a newer, younger, hotter, better you?
I mean, I guess when you put it like that, it sounds super terrible, but it really messed with my head. I'm
Okay,
serious.
so but like a young Beyonce, you took your self-respect and you said, no thank you, I'm walking out the door.
No, I
R-E-S-P-C.
I really let Beyonce down on this one, and I was like, I said to myself, like, I'm gonna make them like me. I'm gonna work really hard, and I'm gonna show them they made a mistake.
No, that's the worst thing to do.
I know, but that's what I definitely did that.
I'm losing respect for you right now.
Hey.
I'm kidding. So why would you work at a place that literally fired you and told you to hit the bricks?
Okay, it doesn't make any sense, you know.
Yeah,
sense.
hence the question. Yeah.
I can't explain it. I just know I ended up working there for another year.
A full year?
Yeah, until
No.
a year.
You're like Milton Wadhams. You're like, I'll stay, but I just need a stapler. Like, no, at that point, just get out.
Oh, yeah. I know. It doesn't make me look very good, does it?
Okay, let's if that was a long time ago. If that was now, let's do a role-playing
Okay.
game, okay? All right, Richelle, can you come in my office?
Oh no, did I do something wrong?
Obviously, Richelle, we're firing you.
Oh, why?
It's just that we don't like you and you're not going to work here.
Wow, that's super personal.
Yeah. Oh, hold up. Sorry, I'm getting a text from my superior. Richelle, just kidding. Can you keep working here for another year?
Ow.
Be strong. Be strong.
No, okay. I quit. I'm not going to work at a place that doesn't want me.
There's the Beyonce we were hoping for.
Wow, that actually felt really good.
I know. Okay, well, we helped her. Hopefully we helped you. Finally, you made Beyonce proud. Everybody, today was a teachable moment. The moral of the story is don't keep working at a job that already fired you.
Yeah.
I feel weird even having to say that. If you have a firing horror story, tweet it at us at Bulldog Collins, and we'll read it on the air. Until next time, don't get fired. And if you do, turn it into a funny story in 5 to 8 years. You're not still working there, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Welcome back to Chris Collins Unleashed with G-Man the man baby. G-Man the man baby. Can we get that nickname to stick? What if you're like
I already have
walking
a
through a
nickname.
mall and people are like, man baby, man baby.
I think my nickname is G-Man, and I think that one sticks. Man baby, I don't like so much.
Okay, so what we're talking about is the difference between a boss and a leader, and I got a list here, and so I'm going to call one out. So the one I'm going to call out is the boss, and then you're going to give me the characteristic of the leader. So these are characteristics, right? So before we went to the break, I said barks orders, and so then what is the characteristic for a leader? If barking orders is a boss,
I think the leader would ask for participation.
yeah. So what we have here is completes assignments with the team, but that's it. Participation.
Yeah. Hey, let's go do this.
That's good. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, the next one is demands unreasonable tasks and deadlines.
Demands unreasonable tasks and deadlines. Well, I mean, it's you make reasonable, a reasonable project plan, right? Assign tasks and make a reasonable project plan.
Delegates tasks as a member of the team. Same. The next one, speaks unkindly to subordinates. What's wrong with that?
Sometimes that's necessary.
I'm not yelling. I'm just passionate. That's what I was saying.
Especially if you have a son who's late or calls in sick. I think, obviously, you have to treat people with respect, right?
Speaks with compassion.
Yeah.
I never yelled at your son.
No,
I ignored him.
But he needs it.
I ignored him. The next one is, I always disagree with this a little bit, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Micromanages every move.
Okay.
So that's what the boss does. Micromanages every move. What's the leader do?
Well, I think the leader, has a project and gives people creative freedom to try to get from point A to point B.
You're pretty good at this. Sets clearly defined goals and deadlines and leaves it to the employee to complete the task. So that only works, to me, if they're doing that. But if they're not, then you got to get in and micromanage, and their head's going to explode, or they're going to do it. They're going to learn. One of the two. But you can't let it go too long.
Yeah. Well, I think with vendors too, you got to apply a little bit more pressure.
Just because you've recently had some bad experiences with vendors.
Yes.
But there's plenty of people listening to this going, I love my vendors.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Just be cautious.
Couldn't pay them enough. Manages process. So the characteristic between a boss and a leader, the boss manages processes. What does the leader do?
Wow. The boss manages process. The leader leads by results.
That's close. You're saying the same thing. Oversees performance.
Yep.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
And Lucas, you keeping score over there? Am I like 5 for 5?
You're pretty good. The next one. So the boss would take credit for everything.
Oh, yeah. That's an easy one. The leader obviously gives credit to the team. You have to give credit. We all did it together.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong?
It says give the entire team credit. You said give credit to the team.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this one's good.
Can I get an 80% on that one?
Demands ultimate respect and loyalty. The boss does.
I think you earn that from the team, right? You have to earn that.
Receives admiration and is revered. The boss is the man or woman in charge. The leader is, this is too hard, inspires and guides towards a common goal.
Yeah, that one's tough, man.
Yeah, that wasn't
because the leader's the man or woman in charge too. Somebody's got to make the decision.
The boss doesn't care about the well-being of subordinates. The leader, it's that one word we love that starts with an E, empathy, shows empathy towards employees because he knows a happier workplace is a more productive workplace.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I don't know that just because you're somebody that's a boss or boss type personality doesn't mean you don't care. That's a weird one. I don't know about that one.
Okay, how about this one? The boss promotes fear. The leader promotes
loyalty,
motivation.
Yeah.
But loyalty can work there too.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? With bosses, that's that whole you were saying before is, do it or you're fired. It's kind of like that boss mentality, which is fear-based.
Okay, boss could be classified as a bully. A leader could be classified as a taco.
As a taco?
I'm just hungry. We need to order some tacos. Okay. A boss could be classified as a bully. A leader could be classified as a taco or a burrito.
A burrito. Jeez, you are food. You have
A
food on the
lemon
brain.
meringue pie.
A boss is
Okay, I'll
a
give you a
bully.
hint. What do we like to say? We're not consultants.
Oh, a coach.
Coach.
Yep.
So a boss could be a bully, but a leader is a coach. And
Yeah.
you got to learn the players. You got to learn them.
Yeah, for sure. You got to understand your people. There's no doubt. And that's the thing about, in extreme ownership, they talk about having your team small enough so that that you can get to know the people that are on your squad.
A boss exhibits unpredictable behavior.
A leader's predictable.
She's just going for the opposite.
What else?
That's pretty good. That isn't what it says, though.
A leader
But it's the
creates a
same
plan and you can predict his trajectory.
Has emotions under control in the workplace.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So exhibits unpredictable behavior. Yeah, like a lot of times, something that I like to say is, let's manage to the middle.
Yeah, right.
Let's not be extremely excited or extremely depressed or mad about anything. Let's just be stoic.
Right.
Stoicism is a strong tool. So a boss creates a culture of high turnover. A leader creates a culture of
Stability, loyalty.
learning and development, stability, yeah, all that. So a boss creates a culture of high turnover. A leader creates a culture of learning, development, stability, fun. A boss deflates employee morale. A leader orders tacos for everybody.
And that improves employee morale.
God, I'm hungry. Creates a culture. Oh, no, that's the last one. Creates followers within the organization.
Yeah.
A boss exhibits poor people skills. Kind of a lot of these are kind of pointing to that.
Right.
A leader can mediate and resolve communication issues between employees. Have we had to do that recently?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
You saved me from it. What have we had to do?
I don't know if it's mediate, but it's definitely, it's hearing the kind of rumor.
It's always salespeople, right?
Rumor mill and keeping things kind of floating the way they should.
A boss uses punishment and manipulation to control employees who are not cooperative. A leader uses...
I think a leader would use like incentives and encouragement in order to improve performance.
Yep, exactly. Recognition and rewards to enhance performance.
Yep, there you go. Recognition and
It's
reward.
almost like you peeked at this.
If I would, I'd be saying it correctly. I'd be higher than 80%.
It's good. That's a good list, though.
That is a good list, for sure.
And so I think the thing that happens to all of us when I first became a boss or a manager, before I raised my hand and said I wanted to be a leader, I was managing my peers that just the day before we were all equals.
Yep.
And so we're all friends. We all went to lunch, and all of a sudden I'm in charge. And all of a sudden they want a day off. They want to leave early. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Right.
And then you kind of go the other way and you learn that they're taking advantage of you. So you can't do that. And then you become a boss and you're like a tyrant and it's like, take it or leave it. I don't care. Quit, that sort of thing. And I think even at that point, you kind of want them to quit. You want fresh. I remember thinking like, man, if I just hired fresh people, they wouldn't have all these hangups and think of me as, the guy that's supposed to give them the day off. I just want people that want to work.
Yeah, right.
I spend all day chasing everybody else's problems. And does anybody want to work?
Right. Exactly.
Just show up and stay all day?
Yeah, that's a tough move too, because when you are subordinate and like you said, you're part of kind of the party, and then all of a sudden now you got to manage them. Yeah, immediately they just want to take advantage of that situation. So it makes it much, much more difficult. And then, like you said, you go through these phases where you're going to clamp down, get really hard, and then nobody likes you, and then and then the team will kind of like lock up. But I think having like a good vision and a good plan and having a really strong goal, and then, measuring that progress towards that goal kind of gets people's minds off of that, and you start tracking towards something.
Yeah. And then the next part of that gets hard is the part about how you get them to perform at your level, because you get to the point where you become a boss. Before you become a leader, you become a boss and you get promoted because of your performance. But it's hard to get everybody else to perform like that. They weren't before. And in a weird way, they didn't want to.
Right. Yeah.
And so they were sitting there watching me beat them every month when I was their peer. And they didn't want to do anything.
Right.
Now that I'm the boss, what's going to make them want to do it even more, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's funny that way how people are. So that's a good list. So
yeah, it's great.
Let's take a break and we will be back and we'll wrap this up.
Hey, I'm Molly Schreiber, and this is Amazing Moments in Business. Once upon a time, you had to get music in a physical store on a physical album and go home to play it on your physical record/tape/CD player. And then there was Napster. Napster, for all my under 30s, was an application that allowed you to download all the free music you wanted, or more specifically, all the free Alanis Morissette B-sides I wanted. Also, this was the dawn of MP3s. Changed the game. You could get music on the internet for free. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, yeah, and the courts shot it down in 2001. They said, listen, Napster, this is super illegal. You gotta pay artists and record labels. Fast forward 10 years, and the music industry is unrecognizable to those early Napster days. iTunes picked off where Napster left off. They made deals with the record labels to sling MP3s to the masses and effectively single-handedly killed off record stores. Actually, side note, you can watch All Things Must Pass, a great documentary on the demise of Tower Records, to hear more about that. But iTunes couldn't stay on top forever. Cue Pandora. Pandora let you stream music all you like. But people got bored of Pandora's shuffle radio model, and they get Spotify, offering full choice of all the music streaming you want, wherever you want, as much as you want, and paying musicians the amazing royalties of 0.00007 cents. I don't know how many zeros there are. There are a bunch of zeros. It's basically nothing. Sorry, Alanis Morissette. So, here we are. As much as I might like to nostalgically throw a record onto my record player, can't go backwards. It is Stream City from here on out, and Napster was the disruption that started it all. This has been your amazing moment in business.
Welcome back, everybody, to Unleash. Today we are talking about the difference between a boss and a leader, something I think we have all experienced. Can you think of a time, G-Man, when you had a boss versus a leader? Like he or she was a boss? Was it a he or she?
It's a he. Yep, he? For sure. Yep. So early on in my professional life, I was working as a mechanic, and I was working at a little shop.
Fixing cars.
Fixing cars, yep. And it was a little shop in Oakland. We had 4 technicians, and then there was a guy who owned the shop, and then he had a manager who managed the shop for him. And so and he was a great guy. I love this guy. And we used to hang out after work, and super nice guy. But I think that was his problem, is he just wasn't very driven. He wasn't a leader. He wasn't leading us there. I mean, he was good at managing the paperwork that came through. So the customers would come in, right, in the morning. He would write up their repair orders and listen to their concerns, and then hand the work to us in the back in the shop. And then we would work on the cars. And then what would happen is later on in the day, you've got stuff that, the customers need to know about, right? And so you need him to call them and explain to them what's going on, give them a new estimate, update the time. And I always felt like we were just bothering him. Like he'd be reading his newspaper and drinking his coffee, and he's just like, he couldn't be bothered with the actual business that we were there to do.
He was Charlie Brown. He's a keeper of the keys. He wasn't driving the business, but he was there. And
like I said, he was really nice, and we all liked him. But at the same time, it was really, I remember all the employees feeling frustrated because, we're there to work. Like, we want to go to work, especially guys like at that point where we worked with our hands. You want to stay busy. Otherwise, you're just kind of standing around, twiddling your thumbs. So it was kind of an interesting experience where he wasn't a tyrant, but he also was not a leader. Wasn't leading us anywhere at all. It was just a frustrating kind of experience.
Yeah. I think there's a flip side to this whole conversation too that I would point out to everybody. If you're a leader and you're running a business or you're managing people, there is another side to this where we spend a lot of time trying to be good leaders, and we should. And you should be able to build a team, motivate a team, make it a place that your people want to work. But I will say that there's a line of people that would tell you that I'm terrible to work for. And there's just, there's, I don't know how many people that say it was impossible to work for Steve Jobs, or anybody that's high performing will say that, but it's not any of the people that did anything special with Steve Jobs, right?
Right. Yeah.
The people that were there when they developed the iPhone or all that stuff are still there, or they have great things to say about him, that he pushed them. And so you really have to understand that there are people out there that just aren't meant for what you're trying to do. And don't spend all your time trying to convince them. Go find people that want to change the world and be a part of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because if you spend all your time trying to convince somebody who doesn't believe, and you've done your best, it will demotivate you and it will stop you. And so you have to have a certain kind of sense. If you want to be a leader, you have to have a sense of who you're letting on your team more than anything. A boss will let that person just kind of mull around and hang out and, piss on everything. And a leader will get them off the team and replace them with somebody who does believe and who wants to contribute. And so it isn't always you as a leader. You have to be able to decipher if somebody has the skills for what it is you need,
I think that was Lencioni's book, Good to Great, where he talked about, or no, maybe it was Jack Welch. I think it was Jack Welch.
Okay, wait, you're going nuts here. So
No?
Good to Great was written by a guy with the last name Collins.
Oh, that's
Jim
right.
Collins.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
All of Lencioni's books are named a little weird. right?
Yeah.
But what are you referring to?
No,
Jack
so that,
Welch winning?
I think it's Jack Welch when he said that you got to have the right people on the bus, but equally as important, you got to get the wrong people off the bus.
Right.
Like there's a seat on there for everybody, but you've got to get the right person in the right seat, and you got to recognize it quick, and you got to make changes and execute.
Yeah, and so there's a list of people that would say that I'm crazy, and the person that came in right behind them and replaced them didn't think I was crazy and did the job,
Right.
And so don't get demotivated if you have the wrong people. Get them off the bus.
Maybe the next podcast is employees versus teammates. Guys that want to be on the team and want to drive and want to score touchdowns versus employees that are just punching the clock and turning their 8 hours and going home.
Yeah, the post office
Right.
mentality. Yeah.
Equally as important as leader and boss.
Yeah, no, I agree. So to recap what we learned today is the real difference between a boss and a leader is raising your hand and saying, I'm going to take responsibility for everything that happens. Every result that happens, every customer interaction, every misfire or every bullseye is on me, the good and the bad. I'm going to manage to the middle. I'm going to be stoic. I'm not going to get too excited or too depressed about anything because I'm constantly moving forward. Now, by raising my hand, I also say that I want to be the leader that gets better, that constantly improves, that's managing by the results, not by the feelings, and that I'm humble enough to tell my team that I'm not perfect and we need to do this together and we're stronger together as a team. That to me is a leader, but it starts with you raising your hand and saying, hey, I want to be the leader. I'm the spiritual leader here. I want to take responsibility. I want to be the one in front.
Right. Follow me. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And follow me by example, all of that stuff that's so important. So the biggest difference between a boss and a leader is accepting responsibility and then owning the result and wanting to improve and get better. And I hope everybody listening to this, if you haven't decided to raise your hand already, today is the day to raise your hand. Raise your hand and say, I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to stop making excuses. I'm going to stop blaming everybody else. I'm going to stop being a victim. And I'm going to own the result no matter how bad it is. I'm going to look in the mirror and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. Brutal honesty, right? Brutal honesty. Yep.
And it'll change your life. When you stop making excuses and you own the responsibility, it'll change your life and your results.
Yeah, for sure.
Your people will believe in you more too. Nobody wants to work for somebody who's blaming everybody else.
Right.
It's the worst. So I hope that inspires you. I hope you raise your hand and you decide to be a leader today. And then I hope your week is great and you have a lot of fun. make a lot of money, make a lot of friends, and we will see you next time on the next Unleashed.
All right. See you.